When I manifested those Beyonce tickets, this is 2016. Again, I'm broke. I ain't got no money. It happened so magically. I didn't have the tickets, obviously. I didn't have a way to pay for the tickets either. These are manifestations. The difference between a manifestation and something that just you may have happened in your life is a manifestation is intentional, right? And a manifestation happens from something out of nothing. So in 2016, I didn't have the money to pay for a Beyonce ticket. And I was driving in my hoopty with my daughters. I remember it, right? The same hoopty that I told you all that I would have to park on the side of the highway where men would be asking, you need help, you need help. And I'm pouring water in the engine and it's splashing hot water in my face. Yeah, that same car. I'm driving my daughters in that car and they were on the radio show. We were listening to one of those radio stations. And they were like, yeah, we're giving away Beyonce tickets. And I was like, wow, it would be nice. Call up the station and see if we win. Call up the station. So I have my daughters call up the station. Because honestly, the reason why I'm not a Beyonce fan, right? I'm not a fan of like nobody really, but myself. I just wanted to see her perform in person because I was watching an award show, I remember, and just her performance looked so dynamic. So I wanted to see her in person, right? So shortly after the award show, they're like, we're giving away Beyonce tickets. I'm like, oh, shoot. Because I went from the desire of wanting the Beyonce tickets after seeing her perform in that what was that? The award show. So then now I'm listening to the radio and they're like, we're giving away Beyonce tickets. So I'm like, ooh, I want a Beyonce ticket. Daughters, call up, not daughters, but one of my daughters, call up the radio station. Let's see if we could win some Beyonce tickets. So here's what I did. All right. This is key. Because again, manifestation is an intentional thing when you're pulling something out of nothing. That's what manifestation is. You don't have it, but you pull it out of nothing. And the nothingness is your external resources. You may not have the money. You may not have the credit. You may not have the connections. You may not have the network. You may not have the external resources. But you're pulling something, the something is inside, out of nothing, right? So I didn't have the resources. I didn't have the money. I didn't have the connections. I didn't have the network to get these things. But I pulled it from the inner resources inside. So I'm like, daughters, call up the station, see if we can win some Beyonce tickets. So as they're calling it up, it's ringing, it's ringing, it's ringing, it's ringing. And they're not picking up. So we didn't get the Beyonce tickets. We didn't get to win the Beyonce tickets, right? But as we're driving, I'm like, ooh, if I win those tickets, who am I going to take? Should I take you, Pooh, or should I take you, Doobie? Which one of y'all am I going to take? This is going to be a hard decision because I'm going to take both of my daughters. Oh my gosh, which one of y'all should I take when I win these tickets? This is going to be so exciting. I can see us sitting down, blah, blah, blah. All right, so if I don't take you this time, then I'm going to take the next child the next time, all right? But we're going to have so much fun. It's going to be so exciting. Yes. Okay, so they're like chiming in. They're like, okay, well, maybe you could take her this time and take me the next time. And it's all right. You know, just take her and it'll be fine. And we're just talking about who I'm going to take with me when I win these Beyonce tickets. Take note. This is what I did. This is what I did. Now, let me tell you. All right. This is 2016. This is when I first started Femme Magic. You know, this is when I'm doing my sensual yogic flow. Right? I'm doing those classes. I'm doing my yoni twerk classes, which is when I was like, you know, doing a twerking and I was making y'all squeeze your vaginas. And I was like, inhale, squeeze, release, squeeze, release, right? So I'm doing the yoni twerking classes, right? And showing y'all how to manifest by squeezing and using your Kegel muscles, right? And I'm doing a lot of physical classes at the time, right? And a lot of men used to tune in. A lot of men used to tune in for other purposes. Okay? And that's why I used to take advantage of it used to be like an OnlyFans before an OnlyFans. I used to have an art gallery. I would call it the art gallery. And the men would subscribe to my art gallery for $10.99 a month. So I was making an extra $30K a month off of these men. Okay? And I would update it probably twice a year. And they were on subscription. And I would be taking their money because they were there for the wrong purposes. But not for nothing, I would have implied nudes and no full nudes, just implied. You know what I mean? Like my sensual, like holding a sheet in front of me, or like in some lingerie or something like that. And I would post those photos there, and they be on subscription, and I would be taking their $10.99. Okay. So anyway, some of y'all men are on here right now, like, God damn it, you used me. Okay, we're visualizing Beyoncé tickets. And again, I'm giving you all a little premise of what I was doing at that time in my life. 2016, 17, I was doing those sensual yogic flow and the yoni twerking classes and the island waistline classes online, right? So a lot of men would tune in to me. I'm telling you this part of the story for a reason. A lot of men would tune in to what I'm doing at that time when I first started Femme Magic. So I'm by Barnes and Nobles over there. And this man was like, my aunt. And I'm like, how does this man know my name? I don't know. Who are you? Like, in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm like, who is he? Right? He's like, my aunt. And I'm like, hey. He's like, hey. I was like, what's going on? He's like, yeah, you don't know me, but I follow you on Facebook. Okay? And I'm like, oh, okay. Hey, how are you? You know? So he was a fan. And I was like, how you doing? Da-da-da. He was like, yeah, it's so good to meet you. Da-da-da. I'm like, okay, yeah. Well, it's about to be my birthday. I don't know how. Oh, this is what happened. He was like, yeah, my birthday is coming. But I was like, okay, happy birthday. My birthday's coming too. He's like, okay, yeah. He's like, yeah, I'm going to see Beyonce. I'm going to see Beyonce. Do you want to come with me? Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you manifestation is pulling something out of nothing? Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? Manifestation is magic. I had no money. When we called the radio station, they did not pick up. I didn't have the money to buy the Beyonce tickets. I had no access to anybody who had free Beyonce tickets. Remember, I always tell you, do not worry about the how. Now, yes, they're only Beyonce tickets. It's not a house. It's not a car, right? It's not a free trip, but it's the magic in which it happened. How the hell did I get to go to a Beyonce concert out of nowhere? And I was just in the car asking my daughters, which one of you am I going to take with you to this Beyonce concert? How did that happen? How? It's none of your business. And it's none of my business. It's not anyone's business how it happened. It's none of your business how it happened. It happened. All I did was throw my desires out there. I visualized it. I visualized my desires. I talked about it with my daughters as if it was already happening. We were in the car getting excited, like, ooh, yeah, who's going to come to the Beyonce concert with me? And a man who is a fan of me, from me doing my little sensual things on the internet, caught me in the middle of a goddamn parking lot, told me he was celebrating his birthday and he was going to see Beyonce, and if I would be his date. How? Magic. When you don't have the outer resources, always remember you have the inner resources. Boom. It's good to desire. It's good to desire. As I told you before, every time I manifested what I wanted, I didn't have what it took in resources to have it, to get it. I didn't. I didn't have the money when I manifested my first vehicle. I didn't have the credit when I manifested my big house. I didn't have the credit. I didn't have $1 million in my bank when I manifested my first million. It was all inner resources. Due to the lack of outer resources, I tapped into my inner resources. We all have inner resources. So I was talking about the Taurus moon that's happening right now. Tauruses are about resources, right? So what you're going to learn to do is tap into those inner resources. You don't have to have it. All you have to do is feel it.